So hi everybody, here we are in the Abarth 595. Got this on test from Fiat Chrysler Australia for a couple of days, and thought it might be nice to give it a spin just into town. No test tracks or anything, but it's a pretty fast car, so let's give it a go. So the important thing to know about this particular car is that it's not a Fiat. Well, it is a Fiat, but it's an Abarth. And Abarth, a little history lesson on Abarth. A chap called Carlo Abarth set up the company back in the 40s, I think, and got a huge reputation. Started off making exhaust systems to make cars go faster, and got a huge reputation for winning tons of races in modified Fiats. In 1963 he produced the Abarth 595, so this is the I suppose this current Abarth 595 is a sort of a homage to that. And oh my goodness me, there's another Fiat. There we go. So yeah, the Abarth 595 was originally, in 1963, it was a 595cc engine, an upgrade from the 500 in the Fiat 500, but of course today everything's sort of bigger. So the engine we've got in this one is a 1.4, and with all sorts of fancy stuff. So it's 1.4, it's injection, it's turbocharged, and it's pretty fast, because it's in fundamentally the same little car as the Fiat 500. Just pimped out ridiculously, and with some great little things. So I suppose it's self-evident really that if you're after a big car to take the family around, this isn't the car for you. And if you want to carry lots of stuff around, this also isn't the car for you, because the boot space is tiny. But if you need a little runaround that you can park in the tiniest of spaces, and you want to have a bit of fun at the same time, this is fantastic. The interesting thing about Fiat is that in Italy they're very, very keen on eco-friendliness, and all of their cars are set up to be very frugal on fuel. This is a little bit of a contradiction in terms, and it's funny the way it works. There's a little sport button here that you can't see on the dash, and we've had it pretty much permanently in sport mode. And sport mode just switches on the turbo and all the rest of the stuff. If you don't want to drive around in sport mode, you flick it to normal mode, and suddenly the whole speedo, the whole system tells you different things. So when you're running in eco mode, it's telling you how efficiently you're driving, telling you when you should change gears and all this sort of stuff. And then when you're in sport mode, and let's see if we can try it now. So we're doing 40, let's do 50 kilometers an hour, we'll do 50 in regular mode, and then you just press the sport button, not touching anything else, and it's gone up to 59 kilometers an hour, just because we flicked on sport, as it's just put in that extra power. So if you want to zip around everywhere in sport mode, it's a lot of fun. Now, what else is there to say? So if you are keen to buy one of these, there aren't a huge number around. You're likely to be paying somewhere around the $30,000 on-road here in Australia, on-road here. It is a lovely car to drive. You've got all of the padding in the seats, and everything's nice and firm. The pedals, the 3 pedals, this is a manual, 5-speed manual, are pretty close together, and every now and again, and we haven't really been paying as much attention as we should, or at least I have gone to put my foot on the clutch, and I've just touched the brake pedal by mistake a little bit, just caught the side of my foot on it, and the brakes are pretty powerful in this car, so that's not really a good thing to do. But apart from that, stunning acceleration. So you just put your foot down and away it goes. And just to emphasize how much of a toy this is, you've got these little indicators around the image of a car, so I'm guessing they're assuming people who are going to buy this car are sort of gamers maybe. And as you're driving around a corner, that wasn't a particularly steep corner, but it tells you how many G's you're pulling. So we just pulled 0.3 of a G on the right hand side. It also tells you acceleration, so if we slow down a little bit, let's see what it tells us. So we get into a gear, come down to about 50, let's do that, and then we just put our foot flat. Yeah, well, we hit about 0.3 of a G. So yeah, and oh, there we go. Even in sport mode it's telling me that I should be changing gears. Everything else is pretty much standard Fiat. Shouldn't say that because the word Fiat does not appear anywhere here. It's just it says 500 on the dash, even though of course this is the 595. As I mentioned earlier, it's a 4-cylinder inline 1.4, which is the same as you get on some of the higher end models in the Fiat 500 range, but obviously with all the trimmings with the turbocharger and all that sort of stuff here. But everything else is pretty much standard Fiat. They haven't really gone overboard on anything else. I mean, you get your radio and your CD player, air conditioning, and bits and pieces like that, but that's about it. The rear, you wouldn't want to go driving around with big strapping adults, but a couple of kids or a couple of smaller adults fit in the back, no problem. And I let a colleague of mine have a little drive around in this, and he's about 1.80 meters, maybe 1.85 meters, something like that, and he didn't have a problem because there's actually quite a lot of headroom here. So yeah, it's not a problem if you're a little taller. What else is there to say? Now, it was interesting, refreshing my memory about the Abarth connection. Carlo Abarth, he was originally from Germany, I think, but then moved to Italy. Was a motorcycle racer, and he ended up getting out of that and making these exhaust kits to make the cars go faster, and he pimped up a whole range of Fiats and went on to win all sorts of things. As a matter of fact, back in the 60s they were completely sick of Abarth winning everything, and after he died, I think it was in 1977, the Abarth badge, it's the scorpion that you saw earlier on, and the reason it's a scorpion is because he was born under the Scorpio sign. That's as simple as it gets. And it just turned into a badge really, which didn't mean a huge amount, but Fiat, under their new management, have decided to bring it back to life again, and I think they've done pretty well with this. This is a lot of fun. It ticks all the boxes environmentally, if that's what you want to do, and it also gives you the opportunity to have a little bit of a zip around. The only slight problem is because it looks sporty, even though it's just a tiny car, expect to have a couple of people wanting to beat you with the lights. That's probably the easiest way of putting it. So that's pretty much what we think. So in summary, I'd be saying, look, if I need a little run around, I didn't need it for anything else, and I wanted something that was a bit of fun, and I had around 30k to spend, then this would certainly be something that would be a bit of fun. So ItalianCar signing off.